Hey, this is Raul. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna answer one of the most common questions that I always get, and it's, hey Raul, how did you do your first deal? How long did it take? How'd you find it? Basically, I'm gonna go through all that story so that you can use it so you can get your very first deal, or maybe it's your next deal. So let's jump into it. If you don't know who I am, my name is Raul Bolufe. I'm a real estate wholesaler investor out of South Florida. I buy and sell properties, been doing this for almost a decade and done millions and millions of dollars worth of deals. The purpose of this channel is so that I can give you my advice, my education, so you can make more money than I did and with less headache and less mistakes. So my very first deal, I was about 21 years old. I just turned 21 when this happened. So I was an idiot. Like I didn't know anything. I was working in my father's car business. I left, I quit to do my very first deal. And I was listening to a podcast by a guy named Joe McCall. And Joe McCall at that time, this was almost 10 years ago, was saying, hey, there's this website called GoSection8.com, and that's where all the landlords are putting their properties for rent for Section 8. Section 8 is a government housing program that pays for people's rent who basically can't afford rent at the moment. So it's a great program. It allows people to rent properties for themselves, their families, and the government assists them. Now on GoSection8.com, the trick was you'd see all the properties listed for rent, but usually the people that have it listed for rent are the owners. They're either the landlords or it's the property managers. Either way, they're connected to the owners. So at that time, Joe McCall had given the advice, go on that website, fill out your information on the bar below, and you can send them a message, or sometimes their phone number is right on there. So I would copy and paste a message that said, hey, I see you have your property listed for rent. You wouldn't be interested in selling, would you? ? And I would just copy and paste that and send it either on messages right there on Go Section 8, or I would copy their phone number and put it on a free Google Voice account, right? GoogleVoice.com. You sign up completely free, you get a phone number, and I would copy and paste the phone numbers and just text them. So after doing that for I think it took me 3 weeks of texting them. I got a lot of responses actually, but I got one person that's finally said, hey, I'm not the owner, I'm actually the property manager. He's got 2 properties and he's looking to sell both of them. So he's like, make us your best offer. I said, okay. So I went on Zillow. I didn't know anything. I was just starting. This was maybe my second month in it. Yeah, because it took me 3 months to close my first deal, which was this. So this was probably month 2. So month 2, I didn't know anything, right? I went on Zillow, I got his property address, and I just took 50% of it. On Zillow, it said, the Zestimate said 120,000. I offered him 60,000. And I sent him a PDF contract by email, but then he faxed me the contract signed back. You know, he called me a couple hours later. He's like, hey, we crossed it off and we put 61,000 and we sent you a fax. Thank God my mom had a fax in her house. You know, I was living in my mom's house. I went downstairs, connected the fax. What do you know? I got a freaking contract of my very first deal, $61,000. And then we got his second one a couple days later. So what I did then, I went on Zillow again and I'm like, okay, who bought houses around this one? So all those little yellow dots, I put sold, and I saw one that sold for 75. And I clicked on that. I saw that it was an LLC that bought it on the public records. I Googled that LLC and I found the phone number of the guy. His name was Zachary. He was an attorney. I called his law office, said, hey, I'm looking for Zachary. He answered. It was him. I was like, whoa. Till this day, I've never had an attorney answer the phone on the first call. So just that alone was a success. And Zach said, hey, yeah, what do you want? I said, look, I saw you guys bought a property on this street for 75. I have one. I'm looking to sell it for 69. Would you be interested? And Zachary said, yeah, tell me about it. I told him about the property. He said, wait, stay on the line. I'm going to get my partner Daniel on the phone. And Daniel was his project manager, property manager, you know, boots on the ground guy. He was Hispanic and I'm Hispanic. I kind of heard the Hispanic accent on the phone. I'm like, hey, do you speak Spanish? And he said, yeah. So we started talking in Spanish, kind of connected a little bit. And then Daniel went out the very next day to check out the property. And we got the property sold for 67,000 and ended up making $6,000 on my first deal. We closed about 30 days later. And that was how I got my first deal done. If you're hunting for your first deal, here's some tips that I'd give you to help you get that deal as soon as possible. The first thing is you must reach out to sellers consistently. When I went to Go Section 8 and I did this whole process, I was constantly texting and calling them for weeks. It literally took me 3 weeks of doing this every single day until I landed my first deal. So do not give up on your first day, 2 days, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Do not give up after even a month, 2 months, or 3 months. Keep reaching out to sellers. Also, number 2, don't get so crazy. Don't have analysis paralysis when it comes to making an offer on the property. So if you get a seller that says, yeah, I would like to sell, what's your offer? Make sure that you just gather as much information from the seller and just make an offer 50% of Zillow and see if they're even close to that. And then if they're even close to that, then you can look deeper in the property, start looking at some more YouTube videos, and then you can maybe make a more educated offer. But typically, most of our offers, even today, and we're doing 4 deals every single week, we're around 50% of Zillow price, whichever way you cut it. So that would be a really good indication for you. Don't get so crazy on, oh, what do I offer? What do I do? do? What contract do I use? Everything. Don't get overwhelmed. Just make an offer. The last tip I could give you is that if you do find the right seller and you do get the deal under contract, the same way that I found the buyer is the same way that we still find buyers today. So you could actually still go on Zillow, look at the yellow dots that sold, click on them, and then put that address on the public records, and you can see the LLC that bought it. There's a website called freepeoplesearch.com that you can find their phone numbers, or a lot of times just Googling the LLC or Googling the name or putting it on Facebook, you're able to find their contact information, and you just give them a call and tell them, hey, I got this property, I'm looking to sell it. That method still works great. The Go Section 8 method doesn't work as well anymore. You can still do it. You can still try it and get some leads from it, but I highly recommend going on like PropStream or one of these websites and getting a list from there. If you want to check out the exact systems that we use every single week to get deals now in 2023, check out the link below and you'll see every single system I use. You'll have discount links on everything if you want to check it out. But thank you guys for watching. I hope this video helped. Let me know what's holding you back from getting your first deal. I'll either reply to you and help you out, or I'll make a whole video about it so that you can have that question answered. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video.